What's up, guys?
We are the
Liberty Goons. We wanted to jump on before we get into the episode today and give a special announcement. We have been nominated for Top Podcast of the Year at the Gundy Awards. This is like beyond humbling to us. We started this 6 months ago, and here we are 6 months later getting nominated for a Gundy. We could not be more excited.
So check this out, guys. I just want to say we are super grateful to every last person that even nominated us. We weren't even trying to get nominated, so this was a huge deal for us. It's something that me and John always talked about, like maybe in a couple years we'll get nominated for this, and to be part of this for John said like 5-6 months. It's crazy that you guys went out and voted for us. So first and foremost, we want to thank you massively. Second of all, in order to get us in that top 5 position, that's what we're trying to do. All you guys need to do is click on the link. We're gonna share it in our stories. We already got some of our stuff up there right now on our Instagram, as well as mine at Don Welch Music, as well as to a Patriot Ranch. He's got it up on his as well over there. And all you have to do is click on that, go in, put your email in, and then you can vote. If you go to Podcast of the Year, you will scroll down and you will see the Liberty Goons. Click on that. It's going to ask you, it's going to say, if you want to have an extra vote, you can put your phone number in. Boom, put your phone number in. Now you get to vote for us twice. Then you can scroll down all the way at the bottom, and then there's a sponsor link. Click that sponsor link. Boom, you can vote for us 3 times every single day, all the way up until December 15th, and make sure that we place in that top freaking 5. It's crazy. There's insane people that are on there. Sean Ryan's on there, the Unsubscribe podcast. I mean, there's a laundry list of big time hitters. So we are just freaking unbelievably excited that we even got nominated for this. So it would be a huge, massive thing for us to be in the top 5. Please, please, please go vote. And we love y'all.
Thank you guys so much. We're going to get you back to the episode now. That's Don. I'm John. We're the Liberty Goons, and we are
out.
Gun smoking, it's a revolution. Shots to your head, it's an execution. It's being us versus the corrupt. Red dot, put a cross to your head. Let the Lord interrupt. Gun smoking, it's a revolution. Shots to your head, it's an execution.
Hey,
what up, Liberty Goons?
What is going on, my boy John?
What is up, man? Welcome to the Liberty Goons podcast. This is episode number 29. My name is John. You know me from 2A Patriot Ranch in the pew pew pews. And that guy right over there, that's Mr. Don Welch. You know him from the Sick Beats. Tell them what they should do right now before they go any fucking further.
Right now is your perfect time to smash that like button, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and make sure you ring that notification bell so you can watch episodes just like this every single freaking week, you beautiful Liberty Goons motherfuckers. Hopefully we're in far enough so the cussing doesn't get us fucked up.
If it does, we're screwed already, buddy. We are screwed already. Man, so as you guys heard in the intro, we've been nominated for a Gundy Award, Podcast of the Year. Woo! And if you go to the Gundy's, GundyAwards.com and check out the list of other podcasts that are nominated in this category, woo doggy.
There's some heavy freaking hitters, bro. I'm still shocked that we even got nominated, honestly.
What are our 2 fucking idiot asses doing?
I don't
know. Podcast of the Year. Do you guys love us that much?
I mean, I guess so. Like,
I mean, my head's already too big. It's not gonna fit through fucking doors now. That's what John with an H from Swamp Fox said. You boys better stay fucking humble.
We still
Man,
gotta have him on the podcast, man.
I know we do need to have him on the podcast. We got a ton of like really exciting guests that are coming
Coming
up here
up.
soon.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that.
I mean, one that I met today, randomly getting a
Ooh,
haircut.
yeah.
Should we say or should we hold off on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I met Eli. It's Eli.
Eli.
Eli. Sorry. I'm drawing a blank here, but I met Eli from the Unsubscribed podcast when I was getting a haircut today. Today's been a crazy day for me. So we are potentially going to have Eli from the Unsubscribed podcast on the podcast. I randomly went to go get a haircut today. I was like watching the Unsubscribed podcast. I walk right past him. I was like, Eli? He's like, what's going on? And then we had our little conversation. I told him, I was like, by the way, we're also nominated for the exact same podcast, or the podcast of the year for the Gundies.
You know, bro, we're pretty much like equals and
We're
stuff.
pretty much like equals, even though their podcast is massive. But I, he was a cool dude, super cool dude. So definitely go check out their podcast. We're not haters here. We want you guys to go check
Watch them all.
They got an awesome podcast. But yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna end up having him on. I met I don't want to give up everybody's information.
Yeah.
We're going to hold off on some of this stuff because we got some big heavy hitters coming in.
We do. Two that I mentioned before that we're just working out some scheduling stuff with right now is the Angry American, the best-selling author of the Survivalist series, and then also G. Michael Hopf, best-selling author from the New World series. Both of those are two of the best-selling apocalyptic, EMP natured books. So those guys, as soon as we kind of get over the scheduling hump here, we will have those guys on. So looking up, man, looking up.
We actually got a pretty crazy schedule for December.
Yeah.
And I'm like, amongst having a baby, and it's like December, and then January we have everything going on with, obviously
with SHOT Show and the Gundies.
Yeah, which is crazy. And then February I'm having a child, so
I know we thought that the January thing for SHOT Show was going to be crazier for you than me. It turns out that
crazier for you.
Yours is fine, but I have to fly from Richmond to Cancun to Las Vegas for 2 days for Gundy's and SHOT Show, and then back to Richmond to open up a restaurant.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yours is insane, man. I'm not gonna lie.
And well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're at Thanksgiving weekend, I guess we would call that.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I watch this, it'll be the following week. But
yeah, it'll be later. But happy Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays in general.
Yeah.
Whether you watch this in Christmas, or
whatever,
the week after Thanksgiving, it is what it is.
What did you and the future wifey do for Thanksgiving?
Oh man, we got some ham, we got some deviled eggs, and a bunch of different casseroles, some stuffing, some turkey, some chicken. I mean, I was pretty much leaving pretty much fat after Thanksgiving. What about you?
I went up to the fam's house just north of Pittsburgh. It was quite an interesting time. I don't really go home for the holidays much. This was my first time in many, many years. It's good to see everybody, though. Like, it was great seeing my siblings and my mom and my stepdad. They are, how shall we put it? They are very much like me. The family is some God-fearing, gun-loving Americans, some freedom fucking fighters. So Thanksgiving night, I sent you the picture that night. We brought out almost every gun in the arsenal, everything from like World War I relics to modern sporting rifles. So that was That was fun.
It was pretty funny. I was like, "Happy Thanksgiving," and next message I get is just like this massive amount of like guns just stacked on top of each other. I was like, "All right."
Yeah, just a pile. We put it in a pile. It was like a 2 feet high pile of guns. That was nice. Oh, and it snowed. I don't even know if I told you that. So
Oh, I didn't know.
yeah, I think it started Thanksgiving night. It started snowing. Just a little bit like the next day, and then that next day, Friday, at night, it started snowing pretty heavy. I had to get up on Saturday morning and come home, and my truck was completely covered in snow and ice. And yeah, I'm a Floridian and a Californian, so I don't have like a ice scraper or brush thing. So I literally just had to sit there until the truck warmed up enough that it like melted off.
I got some old some old tricks for you. You know, grab some boiling water and throw it on the car, but make sure you start the car first because otherwise you will crack your glass.
Yeah, exactly. I could have woke up my parents and just asked them for theirs, but it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and didn't want to do that. Man, we've got some cool shit to talk about today, bro.
Man.
One of those, we'll jump right into some cool stuff that we like to talk about, which is guns. So we've talked about 2 cases on here, kind of throughout the last few months: the Illinois assault weapons ban and the Maryland assault weapons ban. So we've got some news-ish on those. I think we talked about the Illinois one when it got struck down by a federal judge back at the beginning of November. So that one right now is kind of sitting in limbo because it's just waiting on the state of Illinois, which they are going to appeal it to go up to the appellate court.
Yeah, it's gonna go to it'll end up going to the circuit court and everything else. Well, maybe not, because John's got some information to tell you.
Yeah, so there is another case, which is the Snopes case out of Maryland. And that one, actually, they petitioned the Supreme Court, Second Amendment Foundation, and the various other parties involved in that one. They tried to do a writ of certiorari back in, like, I believe it was July or August, to the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court refused to pick it up because it hadn't been decided on the merits yet. So it went back down, and then I believe it's the Fourth Circuit that's in Maryland there.
Third, I think.
Third Circuit?
I think it's the third.
They voted 10-5 at the appeals court to uphold Maryland's assault weapons ban, which gave it some, we'll call it, finality to the merits. They, during their brilliance in understanding the Second Amendment, it was upheld for the court ruled that the ban aligns with the Second Amendment. The court determined that assault weapons are military-style weapons that are not suited for self-defense. And the court also found that the nation's history supports regulating dangerous weapons. Which obviously, Don, you pointed out earlier, they forgot a word in there, which is
dangerous and unusual. So, I mean, in case you guys don't know, the reason why and unusual matters so much for one, you know, the liberals always like to say dangerous or unusual so they can cherry pick, but that's not the case. It is actually stated dangerous and unusual, meaning one, it has to be dangerous. Obviously, all guns are dangerous, so like might as well check that one off the list.
Yeah.
And then and unusual, meaning that it can't have like a significant amount that are out there. So we know, I think
nuclear bombs are unusual.
Correct, but we
Tomahawk missiles
unusual.
Unusual.
Yeah. So, for example, I think the big case that it was like the stun gun or something like that. That's what brought this all along. Yep. This whole unusual thing, which that case ended up finding that 250,000 was enough to be considered not unusual. Like that's common use. So we all know that AR-15s, that there's probably 100 million out there. I think that they're saying
I
something
think they
like
say 40 million, but
yeah, I think that something like 40 to 60 million is what they're estimating. But trust me, it's probably, think about this.
that's one in every 7 Americans.
Think about this. Every single person that gets on Arrow Precision, right, and then rebuilds a rifle or goes to the store and then buys a lower and then orders all the parts from, whatever the case is, like they're not considering those like ARs, or maybe somebody built something and then they sold it. If I sold John a gun, which we're legally allowed to do that. So
Right.
like that's not getting put in those lists. So I feel like there's probably way more than, the 40 million that they're saying there is.
I've got like 10 right behind me.
Yeah, and I think even I own one, two, well, one's a piston driven one, but 5
Same
in
thing.
total. Yeah, because I own an AR-10 and a bunch of ARs, and
all that stuff would be illegal.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so they did a writ of cert to the Supreme Court. That writ has been accepted by the Supreme Court, and they will go to conference on that possibly on December 15th. There is some speculation, though, that they will push on that and wait until after the holidays to make that decision. So
the day after, I think, is what they were saying, right?
Yeah. So exciting, though, that an assault weapons ban is actually going to be considered for the next term.
Yeah, and I just want to state this, like their merit, that the stuff that they based everything on, right, is so out of alignment for every single thing that the Supreme Court has ever ruled upon.
Yeah, whether it's Bruin or Heller or McDonald, all of them.
Yeah, so this, theoretically, if they pick it up, should be a home run, and we can end this large capacity magazines, which are just standard capacity, and we could end this whole assault weapons ban, which they can't even tell you what an assault weapons ban is. They don't even know what an assault weapon is in the first place. But we
don't know what a high
that.
capacity magazine is. They don't know what a standard capacity magazine is.
Exactly. It's a bunch of kids in Congress trying to write bills and then trying to influence society in general, and you get filled with a bunch of propaganda. So
speaking of ARs and kids in Congress, well, she's not a kid, but I just posted right before we came on air. I just reposted Anna Paulina Luna's story from tonight.
Mm-hmm.
She is sitting by her fireplace with a cup of coffee, cleaning her AR.
You gotta love that, man.
I love that woman. Like, she is everything that American patriotic woman should be.
Dude, yeah, you can't. I was gonna. Here's another one. There's the kid's like 12 or 13 years old. I don't know if you heard this story that happened. It was actually yesterday when it happened. So some guy had tried to steal.
Oh, yes.
Steal a child, and the brother, who's like a 12 or 13-year-old boy, I mean, took it into his own hands, obviously not a gun, but grabbed a slingshot.
What a patriot.
And freaking shot the guy who was trying to steal his sister with a slingshot in the head and in the chest. And finally, when the cops found him, he had injuries to the head the size of a marble on his forehead, is what the freaking statement was that came out. So
that is, what a patriot.
Salute to that boy.
Kid, salute to you. Salute to Anna Paulina Luna.
Yeah.
God bless you all.
Yeah, for real. I feel like America's coming back to reality.
I agree. We're in the golden age.
Beautiful thing.
There was another video that came out this week of one of our favorite people. I thought maybe like there'd be a chance that there would go like a week now that we wouldn't talk about her, but I was wrong, because she dropped a doozy of a video, And we're talking about Kamala Harris here.
I thought we were done with her.
I thought we were done with her too. I think everybody, even her own party, thought that we were done with her.
Even her donors called her a loser.
Yeah.
And said that she was the biggest waste of money ever, where she couldn't even balance $1 billion in 100 days.
But instead, no. She was not done.
No.
She was not done. She got all boozed up, allegedly. I don't want to get sued. She got all boozed up and filmed a video telling people that they have to stick to their guns and do what they know is right in their hearts. And I'm obviously not even doing a good reenactment because she sounded like she was absolutely wasted. There's been a ton of like AI meme videos going around that she has like a cigarette in her hand and a bottle of booze.
Did you see the one from 2A Bourbon where she's got the 2A, shout out to 2A Bourbon, by the way. She's like this talking. Oh my God, I was dying laughing, bro.
And she looked like I try my hardest really not to comment on women's appearance. It's just usually not appropriate. She looked really bad.
And it's not because she looked bad because of her womanly features. She looked bad because she looked like she was fucking drunk off of her ass and high.
When she looked like 20 years older than she like normally does. Like she had just been
I mean,
to hell.
Allegedly, she's a big time coke addict. So
are you saying it was her coke that was found in the White House?
I'm not saying that, because I don't want to be like The View and then have to be like, oh, here's a lawyer note.
But you're saying allegedly it could have possibly been hers.
It could have been hers, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, if we're going to just go down this road of things that allegedly could have happened, she allegedly looked like Doug Emhoff beat her ass before she did that video.
He probably did, because he's probably like, bitch, where's my money?
I mean, he's been known to allegedly beat women.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly. Shout out to Pat McAfee for the allegedly comments. For those of you who don't know, he was sued by Brett Favre this past year. And the case got dropped because he did say allegedly. So I feel
what matters.
I feel in the clear now. But if you guys want a great watch, first go and watch Kamala's video and then go watch all the meme videos because it's fucking fantastic.
She sounds like a drunk girl that got her heart broken, that just lost her job, and she's like talking to one of her girlfriends. It's like, girl, you just gotta keep fighting. You just gotta keep doing this.
Keep doing it.
It's not you, it's them.
Oh my God, she's such a loser.
Them being the majority of America, by the way.
Yeah, them being the majority of America. So not only was this a surprise because we thought she was fucking out of our lives forever, the Democrats, the past two election cycles, have put up, 2 out of the last 3 election cycles, technically, I guess. They've put up the most unlikable people, unlikable women in their party, in Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. I mean, I think that's fairly factual. Not obviously, nobody likes them because they didn't win. So I can say that.
Well, I mean, the thing about that is, right, during the Clinton, administration, well, I guess whatever, running for election, they could have kept Bernie, and they probably would have beat Trump, if we're being honest, because he had such a huge following. And then they stopped on that, and they said, nope, everybody fall in line. Bernie fell in line, and then Bernie became even more fucking left-wing than he's ever been. Not that he wasn't left-wing before, but because the dude's off his freaking rocker.
Off his rocker.
But he was kind of like, he was the true change in the party. Not change for the better, but
just
he was
changed from the Democratic agenda.
Exactly. So, but that's what the Democrats do. They
So,
they go by rank and file,
yep.
and because they go by rank and file, that's what bites them in the ass. It's kind of like how our Senate, even the Republicans'
Sure.
Senate,
Yep.
it is rank and file, and it always bites us in the ass. And
Mm-hmm.
I've told you this before. Even my grandfather, before my grandfather passed away, said the Republicans got the greatest ideas, but because they have old rhino ass people that are in there that are part of the rank and file, you get three people that fuck it up for the whole rest of the Senate and fuck it up for the whole entire Republican Party.
Yep. So they failed with Hillary,
Mm-hmm.
unlikable. They failed with Kamala, super unlikable. Guess who the next lady up is? It's
Oh,
our favorite bartender,
AOC.
AOC,
Man, brother,
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I just don't. Are they that stupid where they just don't
Yes,
under?
yes. Think about what just happened. They kicked a dementia-ridden old man out of a race, and without any vote, plugged in a woman that dropped out with 0% of the vote from the previous election cycle, and thought they could prop her up with $1 billion to win an election. Yes, they are that stupid that they would put AOC. And can you just imagine a stage with AOC, JD Vance, and Vivek Ramaswamy? Like, she
Oh.
will get absolutely destroyed.
Well,
Destroyed.
she'll throw a hissy fit because she's very fucking emotional
Oh, she is.
and she's not factual. You know what I mean? I mean, the thing about it is, even at her own rallies in New York, when like nobody shows up and there's like 10 people in the stands, and they hit her on, you know, military stuff, or they hit her like about the Amazon shit, where Amazon was trying to come into New York and then she shut that down, and then people didn't get those jobs. When they hit her with, you know, talking about you know, all the illegals that are
Mhm.
like, she couldn't answer, and this was her party. It wasn't like
Right.
Republicans were showing up to go fucking say something to her. It was people in her own party. That's how crazy, like, communist, like far left wing AOC is. And she's a radical nut job. I
Radical.
mean,
Like, if you thought Kamala was bad, I mean, AOC takes the cake for left-wing women. Her and the squad.
yeah, I mean, they're like on a whole different spectrum. Like, I don't even look at those people as Americans, like at
No,
all.
they're not.
Like when I think of somebody saying AOC, I'm like, what foreign country dropped her off here to, like, you know, promote communism? Like, that's how I think about AOC.
She single-handedly cost her district like 8,000 jobs by not letting Amazon come into town.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And then a bunch of other people that were gonna come in, that were gonna come into New York. They said, "Well, fuck that. Like, we see how Amazon got treated. We're not even gonna make the attempt anymore."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly. Exactly. So I hope you idiots in the Democratic Party do put this lady up there. Please do. Please, please, please put her up there against JD Vance. Please. I fucking dare y'all.
well,
Because it'll be, you thought this last election was a landslide? We'll flip states like Virginia. We'll flip states like
we might even flip New York.
I was about to say New York.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
There's not too many states to flip because we pretty much fucking won them all. But
you can thank me and John for that.
yeah,
Giving you
that's why we got nominated.
giving you the real news.
The real news, raw and unfiltered. But yes, please put AOC up there.
I have a question for you though before
Yeah.
we move on. Do you think that the Democrat Party is going to learn? Like, I mean, obviously, like, AOC, they're talking about AOC because, she's a stand. I think what it is, why they might pick AOC for is because she's the only one that's not 150 in her party. And people think that she's somewhat attractive, right? So I don't think that. I mean, she's got a horse mouth, if you ask me, but we're not supposed to.
She got some tiggo bitties.
Well, I mean, either way, like, do you think that that's what the Democrat Party is coming to? Because we noticed that whenever, Kamala picked her VP picked, right? They were like, oh, we're doing bad with men. So, let's put this guy in here and make him look like he's a guy with a shotgun and like a wholesome country dude.
That's where their problem is, because they continually pick the wrong people to do that with. So yes, I think you're right that like she does look enticing to them because she's like the young, vibrant one, right? Passionate, gives these preacher style speeches and shit like that. But once again, they would be picking the wrong person, just like they did with Tim Walz, just like they did with Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I mean,
right thought process, bad execution.
Yeah, and the my big thing on this, and I know that we're already deep into this conversation, but I just don't understand how they don't realize, like, look, America doesn't want to be far left wing. America also doesn't want to be super, super far right wing either. Like, the vast majority of Americans are like center right. The vast majority of Americans. The only reason, and I'm just going to say this here for you guys, the only reason why Joe Biden got elected for is because all the censorship that was going on media from people like fucking Zuckerturd. COVID was a big thing. Abortion was a big thing, but and then the fact, whether people want to believe this or not, the fact is that you had mass mail-in ballots, and I'm going to let you guys decide on what you think about that. And we had, 16 states where you didn't need an ID to go vote. So take that as you will.
I mean, to be honest and to be fair, Donald Trump is not, and maybe this gets cut up into a meme or something, but Donald Trump is not a super right wing guy. He's not.
He's more of a populist than anything.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he used to be a Democrat. And when you look at some of his positions on things, number one, he doesn't say that like gay and trans people are bad. He just says don't indoctrinate the youth. He has made no stance on abortion other than it's up to the states now, not up to me. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
Has really for most of his life been centrist to center left on most social issues,
and then center to center right on
security, military, border,
economics,
you know. So if you Donald Trump is not far right, which is why he was able to win the election, because he's not far right. And people were like, I mean, yeah, I can kind of support him, even though maybe this one little thing that he's a little bit left on or a little bit right on. Like, that's how you win elections. AOC is fucking far left.
Yeah.
Far left.
But I think that that's, they don't understand that. They didn't understand the border situation. They don't understand that people don't like this whole, forcing, we can force we can basically remove your kids away from you if you don't let them get a transgender surgery. We're going to put people, men and women's sports, whether you like it or not. And they just went so far. And the thing is every time I turn on the news, they're sticking up for that. Still.
Yep.
They didn't learn their lesson.
Nope.
You guys lost because of this.
Yes, you did. You did lose because of this. Like,
it wasn't because me and John said, look, we care about our Second Amendment rights.
No.
And it was a bunch of Second Amendment people that came out there to go vote. Because me and John, we have our own issues, even with Trump on some of that stuff. Now, granted, way better than anything else that the left could have ever put up in this race, that at least we have a little bit more security than what we ever have underneath
Well,
Democrats.
we're straight no compromise. Shall
Yeah.
not be infringed.
Correct. But me and John realize that. And that's the big difference here. They don't realize anything that they're doing wrong.
No.
It's
No,
crazy.
they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it.
And we'll get off that topic, but
we were
I just
talking. Yeah, I man, you way to take it that way because you're right. You're 100% right, dude. You are. So we're talking about Kamala blowing a lot of money. So good old Department of Defense failed their 7th audit in a row. 7th audit in a row. They cannot account for all of their $828 billion.
Bro, $828 billion. Do you know what that would do for the homeless society in the United States that everybody complains about but doesn't want to do anything about it? That would end that. Homeless vets? Bro, homeless vets could be eating 5-star fucking meals every single day on $828 billion fucking dollars.
Yep. So 7th audit they failed, which is it's honestly kind of a good thing, dude, though, because they are setting the new DOGE up for just like cutting that fat, as we call it, out. Like it's how can you defend yourself? Like if we go and we say, hey, you had these 8 programs that couldn't even account for the money that was given them. Well, guess what? They're gone now.
My question to you is, okay, obviously both me and you are me and John are very pro DOGE because we've talked about this, especially John. John's the whole person that coined the government's full of fat and needs to hit the fucking treadmill, right?
Yep.
But my question is how is Donald Trump going to implement DOGE? Because he's going to have to do it he's either going to have to implement through Congress and the Senate, or he's going to have to, there's only so many ways that he can do it because they're not technically a government entity. And the only way to create a new branch would be through Congress. So that's what I want to know.
What their job is, as far as I know, their job is to go out and find where the inefficiencies are at. Go find what needs to go away or what needs to be cut. They are then going to report that back to the president. The president is the head of the executive branch where all of this stuff falls under.
Correct. But essentially what they're doing is they're putting DOGE as part of the executive branch. I mean, that is technically what they're doing.
They're basically advisors.
So
that's what it is.
My question, and obviously me and you both want DOGE. I'm just wondering how much pushback and I'm saying this because I started thinking about this. I'm wondering how much the left is going to push back if they don't go through the proper chains of creating this new thing for the executive branch.
Well, so they don't need to. So they are acting as unpaid advisors to the president. So they don't need to be anything. The president can give a security clearance as high as he wants to anyone. He can declassify anything he wants. So they don't need to act as a government entity. That's not their job. Their job is to advise the president where shit needs to go away.
So you're saying that Donald Trump can give them a clearance to be able to go look into these things?
Yes.
So because I was listening, obviously, to like Fox News, and I was listening to CNN, and they were all saying like, hey, we love this idea, except CNN, but you're going to have to go through the proper chains in order to get it done.
So there's a couple things, and actually Brandon Herrera is the one that actually kind of said exactly how I think it'll go. Is Brandon said, let me go in and I'm going to freaking slice and dice from the inside. And at the end of it, I'm going to go to the president and say, now go to Congress and get this thing wiped out for good. And I think that's what we're going to see is we're going to see Elon and Vivek. They're going to go in, they're going to advise on the slicing and dicing, and there's going to be so much not left that it'll be an easy one to get through a Republican controlled House and Senate because there's nothing left.
Yeah, I mean the thing about it is that they're going to have to do it within the next 2 years just in case.
Well, DOGE's thing runs out after I think it's June 2025 or June 2026. I'm sorry.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, not saying that Donald Trump can't do that. I mean, obviously he can. The reason why I'm asking that is
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's several different ways of doing it, right?
Mhm.
There's Donald Trump implementing it, and then him saying, "Well, from here on out, we can make this a part of the executive branch, and then nobody ever gets paid to be a part of this, like ever, like how it is set up now." And then that would allow, which I honestly kind of think that's how it should be done, because then you could say, "Well, now we can bring people into this. We know that they're not getting paid." And I think we should even go a step further. If you get put into this, like, for the time period that you're in it, unless you own a company. Now, if you own your own company, obviously you can keep your own stocks, you can do all that shit, but you can't go invest into other stocks options.
Yeah, I would agree.
And if they do that, I think that that would be the biggest thing that they could possibly ever do.
Just make it as transparent as possible.
Because then if people like me and John, not saying that they would ever give us that chance, but if they did,
heads up, we could do it.
Then, that allows for people like us, we the people, to then say, put actual checks and balances, because Congress hasn't done it and neither is the Senate.
Yep. Well, in true Donald Trump fashion, it's really running it like a business, right? So, like, let's take my industry, for example. I'm in the restaurant business, right? My people come to me and say, I've got this quote and I've got this quote, or we're doing something this way. Let's take like restaurant cleaning, for example. If we pay our own staff to clean our restaurant, it costs us, pennies on the dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I pay an outside company to come in and clean every week, it's going to cost me $3,000-$4,000 a week to clean. So the decision's easy, right?
Yeah.
You don't spend $5,000. You have your own people do it. And I think that that's the approach that Vivek and Elon are going to take is, let's take a look at what is this agency doing? Oh, they farm out 90% of what they do to XYZ company. All right, get rid of that. We'll just start doing whatever we can in-house.
Yeah.
And
you're right. That's where majority of the fat comes from, right? It's because it's okay, we're going to give this amount of money to this company to do this, and then that company's going to outsource, and then they're going to outsource, and then they're going to outsource, and then it just gets so fat to where then they come in and they're like, oh, actually, we need, $3 trillion. And I'm just throwing a number out there for this because we have to pay such and such and such and such and such and such. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's literally what government's done.
Yeah. I mean, look at the FBI and the ATF, right? Do you know how much cross utilization there is of both of those agencies? Because one of people's big complaints, well, if you abolish the ATF, then anybody's going to be able to go out and buy a gun. Well, let me link you into a hint here. The FBI does almost all of the ATF background checks anyway.
Yeah, they do all the NICS background checks.
So, yeah, they do all the NICS background checks. So no, abolishing the ATF isn't going to allow people to go out and buy a gun from a gun store without a background check. Like that won't happen. When you talk about federal crime investigation, that's already the FBI. Why do we have another armed agency like the ATF doing it? Well, it's not unnecessary. We don't need to. And they don't regulate alcohol and tobacco like damn near at all. No, alcohol, tobacco, explosives. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Like what? Like I think I read something. It was like less than 1% is aimed towards that.
Yep.
So
They basically stop like counterfeit cigarettes, from coming in the country. I don't even think they're in charge of like the warning labels or anything on alcohol and tobacco because that falls under the FDA.
yeah,
Um, firearms and explosives is the only thing. And I'd love to see how much time explosives investigation really takes. And I wonder how much of that job is farmed out to the FBI.
probably the vast majority of it.
Right.
Honestly,
Right.
I mean, the ATF has been shit at its job since day one. Like the ATF has literally done like zero good.
Right.
And I know people are going to be in the comments arguing with us on this, but like, I just want to give us an example of something that they've done good. I mean, because every big profile thing that they've ever done has been highly against we the people. I mean, massively. I mean, look at Waco.
Waco.
You know what I mean?
What was the Ruby Ridge?
Ruby Ridge, Fast and Furious. I mean, every big thing that the ATF has ever had,
They fucked it up.
they have fucked it up. And not just like fucked it up, oh, we fucked up a little bit. No. I mean, drastic. We're about to go to Vegas, right? And we're talking about, the Vegas shooting that happened at the what was it? The
Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, I mean, no, but what
At
was
Route 91 Fest.
Route 91 Fest? There we go. At the Route 91 Fest, right? They lost all those guns.
Mm-hmm.
The largest
They're
shooting,
gone.
the largest shooting that we've ever had in America, and randomly those guns just disappear.
Oh, and just a little sneak peek, a little hint. Should we give them a little hint, Don?
Yeah, we should do a little hint.
A little hint. So we'll just say that you should look for our Route 91 video to come out towards the end of January.
We might have something special for you.
Yeah, maybe a good view.
A good view. Yeah, we'll just say that we'll have a good view for you.
We'll have a good view. Anyway, I don't even know what we start talking about. Oh, the DOD.
Yeah,
so
the DOD.
They can't account for all their fucking money.
You know who else can't account for their money? The IRS.
The IRS.
So let me just phrase this properly here for all of you beautiful people. If you go in and you do something on accident with your taxes, right? Let's say you forgot to put this on your taxes or that on your taxes, and it was a simple mistake, right? Hey, I fucked up. I'm not a tax guy. I don't have whatever the issue is, or my tax guy fucked this up for me. I don't know what your case is. Guaranteed the IRS is coming after you. I don't care if it's for $5 fucking dollars. The IRS is coming after you. With that being all said and done, the IRS, the people that work for the IRS, owe $1 billion in back taxes that have never been fucking paid, and not one person has been put to jail over it. Not one person has came to seize any of that money at all. Period. That's how $1 billion in back taxes, people. So the next time somebody says, well, you better pay your fucking taxes, so why the fuck should we? And that's why we, the people, have been so angry for so fucking long. The people taking your taxes don't even pay their fucking taxes. That's how fucked the government's been.
And you don't even know. That's why the tax code just needs to be completely thrown out. I don't even know how much money I should owe in taxes. Nobody does. Nobody has a fucking clue. Funny enough, I just got a letter in the mail the other day that said that I filled out my W-2, my W-4. I filled out my W-4 incorrectly. I got this note from the IRS that says I filled out my W-4 incorrectly, and basically saying that I'm not having enough money taken out of my paycheck each week or each period. I am a single man that lives by myself and doesn't own a home. I claim 0, right? Like I don't claim any dependents. I don't have anything else. My W-4 to fill out is really fucking simple. I literally put my social security number on there, claim 0, move the
Done
fuck
with
on.
it.
So
Yep.
what did I do wrong? And I was talking to my parents over Thanksgiving, and they were like, "Oh, well, you know what? You probably make too much money and that you now need to pay quarterly."
Oh, yeah, that could be it.
But how would I know that?
But that's the thing. They don't want
How
you
would
to
I know it?
they don't want you to ever know that. And then they make up how much money you owe. They make it up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a business owner, look, they can come after you for anything. If you
Mm-hmm.
own, let me tell you this, people in Texas, all my Texas brothers and sisters out here know the property tax is fucking insanity. It is insanity. That property tax is one person comes over here that does the taxes and says, well, this year I think your house is worth $500,000. So now you're going to owe this much money. Well, the next year they're going to say, actually, no, you know what? Your house is worth $800,000 and you owe us back taxes for all that property that you have now. What the fuck? Like,
What the fuck?
and then you go and you're like, oh, I don't have this, and our taxes are insane. So I don't have, $60,000 to pay with for fucking taxes for this. And I'm just throwing a number out there. Our taxes are insane. Like, I mean, people pay way more than that for $500,000 homes on, 20 acre lots. Like the taxes here are insane. I think we're the second highest in the country. I think Florida's third highest. It's I mean, outside of California, it is insanity the amount of taxes. Even if you found an affordable home for $200,000 and you make $100,000 a year with the interest rate and then the taxes on top of that, like you're still like, I mean, barely paying that shit.
Yep. Yeah, and you just don't know.
And
You
then,
don't know.
and then the next year they say, oh, well, your house is worth 400,000, which is exactly what happened during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bunch of houses fucking foreclosed on, banks took them, and then they sold them to a bunch of California bankers, and now they own all these land, all the property and land.
And now BlackRock owns everything.
There you go. And this is why the IRS needs to be capped. I think, in my personal opinion, they can't be trusted. And well, not even in my personal, they just can't. No, there's nobody on the United States of America that is a civilian that will tell you that the IRS is doing a great fucking job. Not one of them.
Nope.
We should get rid of the IRS and we should have a straight tax. And I am all for saying, hey, guess what? This straight tax is 6% tax across the board and be fucking done with it.
I'll take it a step further, and I think we might have touched on this way back when we first started. I am in favor of getting rid of all income taxes and only going to a national sales tax where it is scaled from commodity items. So your bread, your milk, all your stuff that you need to sustain life, right?
Low taxes.
Tax at 0%.
Oh, tax at 0. Okay.
Yeah, tax at 0%. Hint, you can get rid of food stamps then.
Yeah, very true.
Get rid of all the taxes down there. If you want to buy a t-shirt, it's a 1% tax. If you want to buy a car, it's a 5% tax. If you want to buy a 200-foot mega yacht, it's a 35% tax. Therefore, the more extravagant lifestyle you want to live, the more you're taxed. Yep. If you're just a common fucking American that likes your fucking bologna sandwich and a glass of milk and drive your fucking Honda Civic, you're good.
Yeah, and I don't think that you should be taxed for housing and for property tax at all. Because the reason why I'm saying that for is, you buy this. Let's say, you have a 30-year mortgage. Okay. You have a crazy interest rate already. You pay $300,000 for the house. By the time you're all said and done, now you paid $540,000 for the fucking house. Guess what? At the end of that 30 years, you still don't own the fucking house. You know why you don't own the house for? Because you owe the taxes on it. And guess what happens? If you don't pay your taxes, that means somebody else can slide in and then buy your property for the taxes. That has to be getting rid of. It is a Ponzi scheme. It has to be gone. If the government actually cares about fucking Americans, that has to go.
We need a simple system. It's so funny. The last time America wasn't in debt,
When we didn't.
1913, the
Yeah,
year before we had income taxes.
Yeah, and the only reason why we have income taxes for is because it got pushed on people and said, hey, we're gearing up for this war, so we're going to do income taxes. But as soon as that's done and over with, we won't do them anymore.
Right. So it's exactly like, I think I talked about this on here before too. I can't remember. So years ago, California put a special tax on gasoline that was meant to build up money for infrastructure, which seems like, okay, they had some bridges and some roads that were in disrepair and stuff. I can almost get behind it, right? I'm not saying I fully am, but I can see the philosophy behind it. Well, they fucked around and spent all of that money on stuff that wasn't infrastructure. So then I think this was probably like 2017, 16-ish, if I remember correctly. They did another 25-cent per gallon tax on their gas to pay for roads and infrastructure.
Of course.
Because they had already spent on entitlements all the money.
Of course, it's the same thing that happens. It's the whole gambling scheme too. Let's put in a fucking gambling boat, or let's put in whatever here, and then this will pay for all the schooling.
And then they never use the money for the schooling.
And then they never use that money for schooling.
Which, once again, the idea in and of itself,
great idea.
But
that's the problem with the government. It's like, who is going to govern the government?
And that's our job. And this is what you and I talked about 4 episodes ago. This shit is your fault, people. Yeah. This shit is your fucking fault. Yeah. You allow this to happen. And you can say, well, I didn't allow this to happen. Now I didn't have anything to do with it. Yes, you fucking did.
Yeah, because you allowed
voted in the wrong people time and time again. You voted in these far left, and even before it was like far left, but even like left, you call it that, left people that decided to continue to offer these entitlements and subsidies and all this stuff that just goes boom, 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 boom. All this money piled up. You fucking people voted them in. And then even when you saw what they did, you voted them in again. The people like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell and all these fucking old guard bullshit fucking people that continued to spend your money. Yes, it is your fault. All this shit is your fault.
It's a lot of this is, and it's not even just the entitlements for people entitlements.
No.
So look, and the reason why I'm saying that for is, do I think that first time homeowners need a break? Yes. Do I think that they need $25,000 put in their pocket? No. But do I think that you should pay 10% up front? No, but let's call it 5% up front. Okay. Let's say you pay 5% up front, and then, you automatically are set in at a low interest rate, and we'll set it at 2% interest rate. Most people in America can do that, right? If you're a middle-class American, most people can do that. Now, also, I don't think that you should be getting a loan for, $500,000, but, unless your income shows that you can do that, but which most of you can't. But, let's make something reasonable, right? Like, let's say, I make $100,000 a year. okay, you can get a $300,000 loan. And then call it 5% fucking upfront and 2% interest rate. Fantastic. Instead, what happens is that they put a 8% interest rate on it. They give you a $500,000 loan. The government loves it. And then guess what? You can't pay it off. Then the bank comes in, snatches up that, and then they redo the whole cycle all over again. And guess what? More and more and more debt accumulates, right? Now you have that for people. The big part with government is they fucking don't even know where they're spending your money, like we just talked about. The DOD, the IRS doesn't pay taxes. You're paying fucking the military industrial complex, $150 for a fucking banana. Like, it's insane. And the problem has always been neocons and the one, the two wings of the same bird fucking party that we've dealt with forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And that's been the problem. And I think that's also probably why Trump won, because he's a populist and said, hey, enough is enough with this crazy spending.
Well, and so I don't think, the average American, I don't think you understand, most of you understand, and feel free to comment. I'm not trying to diss on anybody here, but I don't think you quite understand how this whole system and how these people's minds work. So the government wants to, the people that are in government, they want to have a situation where prices of goods and things and houses and all this stuff is high. Why do they want it to be high? Because they want to continually try to raise wages. Why do they want to continually raise wages? Because they get income tax and payroll tax on it. The only people that make out for higher incomes is the government.
That's it.
That's it. You don't make out.
Your great grandparents were making like $50 a fucking week and could buy a house, people.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. That's how far removed we are now.
Right, because it's just mind blowing that like the left really doesn't understand this. There doesn't have to be a thing like inflation. It doesn't have to exist.
No.
Tell me why, just like in your example, Don, why did a house cost $5,000 back in 1950, but it cost $400,000 now? It's artificially been inflated along with wages. And the reason they did all of that was to collect more money in taxes. It's the only reason you would ever inflate two sides of an equation.
Yeah. And then
that's it.
And then we're forgetting probably the most important part of this is that instead of having money backed by gold or greenbacks, we decided, oh, you know what a great idea would be? Hey, look, that speaking of that artificial money, our artificial inflation, we have artificial money and the Federal Reserve appeared, which has nothing to do with the federal government. And then the Fed says, okay, well, we see a problem with inflation. So now we're going to increase, your interest rates. But the problem is that they're 6 months fucking behind. And then as money starts to, people start to be able to spend more money. Now you hit them with high interest rates. Now everything goes back down and that fucks that up. And it's always this like roller coaster of a ride because they can't figure it out. But the one thing that they do love is printing money. Why do they love printing money? Because they've been buying government bonds forever. And do you know who's part of the Federal Reserve? Oh, neither do I, because none of you know who actually is part of the Federal Reserve, because it's by a bunch of fucking bankers all across the entire world that has nothing to do with the United States. And they keep being able to freaking get government bonds over and over and over and over and over and over again. And they're making them rich while you're making we the people poor. And the government fucking doesn't care as long as they stay in power. They don't give a shit if you are, successful or unsuccessful. They don't give a shit.
And you wonder why we're pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't understand the last like 7.5 minutes right there. Go back and rewatch it again.
Yeah.
We gave you a very idiot's view of economics.
I mean, we could really break it down, but we do an hour and a half podcast, so
We don't want to go too deep into it. We still got like two big things to talk about here.
yeah.
Anyway, go watch the last 7.5 minutes, because that, if you need an idiot's view, there you go. Big news this week. Donald Trump nominated Kash Patel as director of the FBI. This is one of the two last shoes to fall: ATF and FBI. Kash Patel. I'm going to keep my comments in general fairly short on this, because I want people to go and watch the Sean Ryan show.
Who are up against again and the gun?
Don't vote for him.
Vote for us.
Vote for him. Vote for us. But go watch his show. See, this shows how cool we are. We're telling you to go watch a competitor show. Sean Ryan had Kash Patel on just a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know what this man is going to do, go watch that. He is going to blow up the administrative state that exists in the FBI. He is going to blow up all the bullshit, spying on Americans, unlawful use of the Patriot Act, all the people that went after Donald Trump, his comments on Jack Smith and the documents case down in Florida. He's going to put that motherfucker behind bars. I mean, just watch. I'm telling you, Kash Patel, if he gets confirmed, which there doesn't seem to be as much issue with that, because
I kind of thought that there was going to be a lot more, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I thought there would be way more pushback, just for the simple fact that, you know, as much as me and John are, we vote conservative, we have a lot of shitty conservatives in our party. We've talked about it.
It would be hard for them, though, Don, to really push back too much, because if you look at qualifications, he has them all. I mean, he has spent most of his career working in national intelligence from a law side.
I mean, very true. I mean, even in my personal opinion, even Matt Gaetz, Matt Gaetz tore up every single person in Congress. I mean, he could have easily and should be the AG instead of Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi is probably the scariest pick that,
It is. It's the scariest pick.
And it's not good for us people. It was a very bad pick. And when it's a bad pick is when Mitch McConnell immediately hops down and says, we'll vote that in. That's a scary. Anything that Mitch McConnell's like all hands in on, I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a great pick for us.
If you want to hear more about Pam Bondi, go to episode 28. We do a very long breakdown of Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
But Kash Patel, I think it's going to be great. I can't wait. The fireworks that are going to start on January 20th, they're not going to be at the Capitol.
Bro, he's such a hammer. And I'm glad that Trump's putting in hammers in those positions, although I know that me and you both really wanted to see fucking Matt Gaetz. Kash Patel, if everybody else gets in, hopefully Pam Bondi doesn't and we get somebody else in that we like a little bit more, but whatever, more than likely she's going to go in. She's probably going to be the easiest one to go in flying colors. However, I think that if we get Kash Patel in and we just get Brandon Herrera for the ATF, people don't understand how big that is.
It's huge. I mean, Kash Patel came out and said, not only the Jack Smith thing, he said he wanted to shut down the Hoover building, which is where the FBI is headquartered.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the FBI, if you guys don't know this, what was it? They got, I think it was $40 billion Congress gave them to build a new facility.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Insane, like absolutely insane. So hopefully that goes away. and we say, we're going to snatch that back up.
Yeah. It's a great pick, and it just adds to the list of great picks so far. I get more excited. We are, what are we, 50 days? We are 50 days, 51 days away from all of this starting.
Yep.
I can't fucking wait. I can't fucking wait. This is amazing.
Trump, brother, stay alive.
Stay alive, my guy.
Stay alive. I'm still nervous about all that shit, man, because I'm like, bro, I don't know if you saw this. I know we're getting off track. Well, yes, but I don't know if you saw this getting off track where all of his picks have now had death threats.
Yep.
All of Donald Trump's picks have now had fucking crazy death threats.
The Pete Hegseth one was crazy. Stay safe out there, people. Stay strapped. Get clapped.
I honestly keep saying Blackwater, Eric Prince. Bro, you need Eric Prince for security detail, my guy.
Yep. Write an executive order day one.
Yep.
That says, actually, just pay for it now. I mean, there's enough. Elon could just pay for it himself.
It needs to happen like 8 months ago.
Yep. I bet you Sean Ryan would even go back to Blackwater. Could you imagine if they hired like DJ Shipley, Sean Ryan, all these guys that are just like fucking badasses?
That would be crazy, bro.
What's our guy from the other podcast that we met at Goals?
Oh God.
Why am I blanking on his name right now? Really cool dude.
He's got a podcast too. It's a big podcast.
Oh man, I'm blanking on his name right now. Anyway, he's a badass dude too. You're 100% right. I wish I had like Trump's number. Actually, I wish I had Elon's number because Elon seems to be the driving force. He's like been at Mar-a-Lago now for like a month.
Bro, he
just had Thanksgiving there.
I mean, his mom was on Fox talking about like their friendship. Like,
could you have imagined 5 years ago if you would have said that in 2024 in November that Elon Musk and Donald Trump would be best friends and having Thanksgiving dinner and smoking cigars at Mar-a-Lago together? People would be like, what? Like, no fucking way.
And dancing to the YMCA, like...
It's all so great. Dude, I wish we could just do an entire podcast episode on how great all of these little things are, because them dancing to the YMCA, just fantastic.
Bro, I mean, and Trump's dance, his whole thing, and then the golf swing, brother. I mean, it's still viral every single moment. Anytime you see it, NFL player scores a touchdown, they do it, it goes viral. UFC fighter gets the knockout, it goes viral. Sororities, fraternities doing it.
It's great. It's the dance move of the decade.
Bro, it's crazy.
I bet you and I don't go to clubs, but I bet you if we went to a club, you would see people doing the Donald Trump.
You probably see it. Yeah.
You should put out a song that the dance move is the Donald Trump.
That would be wild, man.
Just saying. Viral. Anyway, Kash Patel, good luck. So the biggest story is something that broke just before we came on air here. Literally seconds before we came on air. I had enough time to make sure that I got the information out on the Liberty Goons Instagram. President Joe Biden has died. No, sorry. That wasn't the news. He has not died.
Aviator Biden
has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, of all crimes.
I thought that he said he would never do it.
I thought he said that no one is above the law.
You know what's crazy about that is actually in his letter, he said nobody's above the law, P.S. I'm pardoning my son.
If you wanted to summarize, that is a great summarization of a letter.
What? I'm not joking you. I read it and I was so confused because I was like, wait, what? And then I asked John, like, am I reading what I'm seeing? Like, I literally asked him that before we got on. I was like, wait, what? Like, I had to go back and read it like 3 times because it didn't make any fucking sense.
I think that the one of the funnier parts of the whole thing is he basically admits to his son's crimes for him in the
Yes.
letter. But he says, "Oh, but we've just like never really prosecuted people for that before." Oh, you mean just like we've never really prosecuted anybody for underestimating the value of their property on a loan application?
Which, in my personal opinion, if anybody has been to Mar-a-Lago, my God, that house is not worth $13 million. It is worth, bro, you couldn't buy a lot at Mar-a-Lago for 13 million people. So anybody that's saying that that's underestimated, holy shit.
Should we? I think we should listen to Joe in his own words, right? I think we should do that.
Crack that, play that on there, man.
Yeah, let's crack this up here and listen to Joe Biden talk about what we will call the law. Let's
This nation is founded on the principle there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
He just said it right there. No one's above the law. That wasn't AI. I didn't make that up. That was from a video of him.
I mean, apparently he is. Apparently his son is. Also, I mean, doesn't he owe a shit ton of money back in taxes?
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
Now, I want to say something because we talked about this before too. I am very iffy on the whole thing with him getting a felony for the 4473 issue.
Well, we talked about it on here.
Yeah.
Me and John don't think that we don't think that that should be an issue at all. Actually, I don't think that's what he should have got a felony for. I think what he should have got a felony for was dropping a gun at a trash can next
Correct.
to a school.
Wait, was that in the Biden letter? Was that in the Biden letter?
No, that wasn't. No.
That part of the story I don't think was in the Biden letter.
Because that should probably be a charge, or the fact that he owes millions of dollars back and taxes. Like,
how about his laptop?
Or his laptop that is incriminating as fuck.
China, Burisma, Ukraine, funneling money to dad, to the big man.
There's 1,000 things that you could have charged that man before, and the only thing that stuck was a gun charge, which even the part of the thing that he actually got charged with, we'll be the first to say it.
He shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have. Now, the other part of him with that gun, he should have definitely been charged for. Because if it was me and fucking John doing that, we would have
charged.
We would have the book thrown at us.
If I walked outside my building here and I just laid my gun down in a trash can and a police officer saw me do it and walk away.
No. Even better yet, walking a few blocks to the school.
Oh, to the school. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot you were up there.
Yeah.
I'll walk up to the school and I'll put the gun on that trash can that's out there on that corner and I'll walk away.
Yeah.
You think I'd be charged?
I mean, my God.
And I mean, just what you were saying before we came on air about, like, I don't get this, John. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's the point. Like, you shouldn't get it, because he basically said, oh, I said from the beginning I would not get involved with the Justice Department and blah, blah, blah. And then I pardoned him. So, like, what you say there doesn't make sense, Joe. And honestly, I feel bad for the guy. He has fucking dementia. Joe Biden has been rolling him out there, hopped up on drugs, allegedly. And, you know, who knows? Maybe the cocaine was his in the White House too. It was his little pick me up before he went out to give a speech. He probably doesn't even know what was on the fucking letter that he signed.
Bro, an old chick with the Velcro hair and the penguin suit telling us that absolutely not. President freaking Joe Biden would absolutely not let his pardon his freaking son. And guess what? That's exactly what he did.
Speaking of the penguin in the suit, do you think they have a goodbye party for her?
Bro, no.
Do you think anybody in that building even likes her?
Dude, she might have been she was worse than
Jen
Circleback Jen.
Yep.
And that's bad. Like, it's hard to be worse than Jen Psaki. It really is.
And in fairness to Jen Psaki, she had to go back to back against, let me check my book, Kayleigh McEnany, that had an answer for everything all the time.
Well, dude, Kayleigh McEnany was a beast, like an absolute beast. And I don't know if we'll ever have a better, what did he call it? You just said it. You just said the name. Press secretary. Like, I don't think that we'll ever have a better press secretary than her.
I mean, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was pretty good too, but I don't think she was on the level of
no, because so prepared, knew what the questions were like. She knew the bullshit, because you know why she knew the bullshit? Because CNN was talking about the bullshit leading up to it, all the lies, and she'd go, "Oh, there we go, flip there," and she
was like a scrapbooking soccer mom. She had her little tabs, boop, right to the page.
Bro, what a beast! I don't think people understand how badass Kayleigh McEnany actually was.
She was badass.
I really wish we had her now, to be honest with you, because it would be great.
I do like this Kathleen, I believe is her name, because she was the Trump spokesperson that I saw like the most out on like the campaign trail. I do like her.
Yeah. I mean, I like her too. I just think that there's Kayleigh is just a freaking tactician, bro.
Yeah. She was that. I mean, she was soccer mom.
Yeah.
Going to the PTA meeting. Oh yeah. Well, in section 2131 of the bylaws, it's this shit right here.
She's the woman going up and destroying the HOA every meeting.
Oh my God. Oh man. I think that's what we got. I think that's a wrap for the day. I don't know. I don't think I told. Well, I mean, you kind of knew, but I have to open a restaurant in 12 hours.
That's insane, man. That's insane.
Yeah, 12 hours I open a restaurant. So that's exciting.
I don't know about exciting.
Kind of.
Stressful, maybe?
Stressful as fuck. That's for sure. So it's going to be a long week. Long week for me. We got Christmas coming up. I'm thinking I'm expected to come back to Crazy Town. I'm just kidding. Not Crazy Town. I know you guys watch this. No, my mom doesn't watch the whole way through, so she's not going to hear this. She says we fucking talk too much.
I mean, that's why people watch this for.
Yeah, facts. We do talk about too much. What you got going on this week, Don? I know you were looking at new apartments and stuff.
Yeah, so moving. My girl, she in the months of being 7 months pregnant, decided that she was going to quit her job, go to this other job, leave the apartment that we've only been in for a little section, and then we're going to move to another apartment. And I have lived in 4 apartments in a year and a half. So, and here she is, 7 months pregnant, and now we're going to be packing up while she's 7 months pregnant. So I am stressed out like nobody else's business on this shit, while trying to do this, trying to rehash some music stuff, and shoot competitions, and just a whole plethora of other shit. It is wild, wild, insane. But you know what? I feel super blessed and I'm super thankful to be in the position that I'm in. And I'm super thankful. And me and John are both super thankful that you guys have what? Nominated us for the Gundies.
I know we opened up with it. I am just so ecstatic about this. Mike, Don and I were talking the other day, and I said my goal for 2025, not even 2024, my goal for 2025 was to get nominated for a Gundy on the gun reviewer side of things, on my 2A Patriot Ranch side of things. And all fairness, that channel is bigger than our channel right now.
Yeah.
Not in my wildest dreams did I believe that we would get nominated for a Gundy at the Liberty Goons before I did it to a Patriot Ranch. And so I am just humbled and blessed at our Goon family. All the people out there that have really supported us, just like diehard supporters of us that watch every fucking episode, watch our two dumbasses talk nonsense for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That gives us tips and tricks and teach us how to change our thumbnails and come on our show and do giveaways and the people that are now, because of where we've been able to get to, we have these guests that are like, fuck yeah, we want to be on your show. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I'm honestly humbled. Don and I talk a lot of shit on this show. But this can be one of those truthful moments where I can just say like super, super humbled by it.
Yeah, man. I like you said, the best words that you could possibly use is ecstatic, man. Ecstatic. Yep. And it's thanks. Well, we're past Thanksgiving. When you watch this, it's past Thanksgiving, but that's probably one of the biggest things that I am thankful for is, man, me and John, we met not too long ago. We're at his ranch right next to my freaking, dad's spot in Florida where we got some land we go shooting at all the time. And, between like, me doing the music and then him doing guns and then us both doing gun stuff. And then we just decided to make this, man. And it's turned around so quick on election night. Like, wow, you guys stayed online with us for like 8 fucking hours.
Shout out to all you warriors.
Insane. Like, and we're not doing anything special. We're getting on here. We accumulate a bunch of information that we know about, that we're passionate about, and we talk to you guys about it. And we try to be one of the first people to tell you about it, right? And we give you our personal breakdowns of things. And
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. And I mean, that's one of the things that we're not perfect. We hop on here, we have ideas, and we just go off the top of our heads on things that we are passionate about, but we don't have any script. I'm not reading off anything here. John's not reading anything off the front of him. I mean, we notate hey, here's the talking points that we're going to do, and fucking have at it. And you guys have stuck around, and now you guys have nominated us for a Gundy's. Like, mind-blowing, man. Just ecstatic.
Don't forget, guys, you can click the link in the description down below to go vote for us. You can vote up to 3 times per day. Please do it every single day. We would love for you to vote for us. If you haven't done it already, please like this video. We would absolutely love it for you to like this video, subscribe to our channel. We're hoping to make big moves in 2025, so subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get notified every single time we post cool shit just like this, ring that notification bell. Until next time, I'm John. That's Don. We're the Liberty Goons, and we are
out.